This is not Noah's Ark. You'll just file out in single file. That is, if there is a fire, a loud explosion, an earthquake, or anything that forms part of a crisis. So stand up and in a very calm manner, just walk out to the stairs. There'll be people there to guide you down, and walk outside of the building and walk completely outside of the compound in case of a fire or any other eventuality. Also, very important for today, we have a hashtag. Now that we're digital and social, the hashtag is #IAM. If you're feeling very patriotic, you can also use the hashtag #IAMKE. We also have a number of social handles, the #IAM Initiative KE on Facebook, and Twitter handle #IAM Initiative KE. We've also got an #IAM Initiative KE. So kindly use these handles. I've already seen a flurry of activities as we began to start the event. And if you have any questions, feel free also during the whole process of this launch this morning to ask your questions on social media. We'd like to start the conversation. We'd also like the conversation to stay alive as we go along. So with those few little housekeeping rules and welcoming remarks, we'd now like to officially begin the meeting. And I'd like to welcome Sam Gishuru from NILAB to give us his welcoming remarks. Let's welcome Sam.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We have started with tea. Director General, Dr. Farouk, Dr. Again, UNFPA representative, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the NILAB. For some of you, this is the first time to come to the NILAB. Well, I hope you love our colors and our designs and everything that's around here. We're an innovative space. Now, I realize that the conversation about sexuality and sexual reproductive health is not dining room conversation for most of us. We're still a very conservative country. And because of this, we see some of our statistics are really, really scary. I was just looking at numbers the other day with my team, and they're saying that part of the stats, 29,000 young people between the age of 15 to 24 are getting infected with HIV/AIDS. So for me, this means we must start having this conversation. And the best part about it is that it's not a difficult conversation anymore. I was driving here, I was thinking about Moses. Moses was asked by God, what do you have? What are you holding? Now let me just see, what are you holding, Joram? Joram, my consultant over there is holding a mobile phone. Yeah, everybody is holding, or most of you are holding a mobile phone. So what are you holding? And what can we use right now to actually change this conversation? And that's exactly what we have. We're really actually empowered at the moment. So what happens when you empower youth? From what I've seen the last 5 years of running NILAB, when you empower the youth, they bring change to themselves. When you give them the tools they need, when you show them the direction, they start innovating around them. When you actually promise to keep on supporting them, when you decide to invest in them in terms of money as well, they keep on building solutions. We've been discussing about these particular challenges, and we've been thinking, come on, we can innovate a lot. Why can't you access counseling services if you press a button? Why can't you access peer-to-peer support, virtual support groups when you press a button? Why can't we have situations where young people can have anonymous but safe spaces for them to chat? I have seen these things happening. They already are doing this on Snapchat anyway. Why can't they have a safe place to ask the questions that they actually have difficulty on? You know, we've been thinking about victims of sexual abuse. Where do they go to? They are stigmatized already. How do they find the support they need? How can we map out our health centers in this country to make sure that by the press of a button, you know the nearest health center by your location that is close to you? You may be surprised, but we've gone very crazy on this conversation. We've actually considered what would happen if we designed the Reinhold boots that tell you whether you should actually be seeing a doctor very soon. You know, digitally enhance the Reinhold boot. It's not just about building apps and SMS solutions. It's actually about really innovating around our challenges and making sure that people are well informed. And so I feel that this is time for us to actually be able to pull this through. We should be able to pull this through. This partnership with UNFPA gives us this opportunity, and we applaud UNFPA for providing the data that this acceleration will be anchored on. Data is important. I think I said this in our last conversation. The data and actually also spearheading this kind of challenge. We will become a disruptive organization by deciding to go down and work bottom up. So we applaud you and we applaud the NILAB team for putting together an amazing event and putting together an amazing curriculum and that process that will enable this acceleration to happen. Now, why were you invited here? Because each one of you in the room is an influencer, you're an opinion shaper, you're a change maker. I see a lot of early adopters of technologies in the room. And we're hoping that you will actually help us push this conversation, that you will buy into the narrative and push the conversation that we must have. First, talk about these things. 2, innovate around them. 3, change. Bring the difference that is required. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Night Up, and thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
Thank you very much, Sam. Another round of applause for Sam. I'd like to now welcome to the podium Judith Kunyiha. Judith is Assistant Representative to Kenya to give her welcome remarks from a UNFPA perspective. Judith.
Good morning, Dr. Keegan, Dr. Kibaro, my colleagues from Johannesburg, UNFPA Johannesburg, colleagues from the Kenya Country Office and other country offices in the region. I can see Tanzania here. I think I have Burundi, Karibuni Sana, Rwanda, and Uganda. Karibuni Sana. Friends and colleagues, thank you all for coming. I stand here to speak on behalf of our representative, Mr. Siddharth Chatterjee, who is away on mission. And indeed, it is a privilege and a pleasure for us at UNFPA to warmly welcome you to the I Am campaign and our Innovator Accelerator. United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, is the lead United Nations agency that works on delivering a world in which every pregnancy is wanted, every live birth is safe, and all young people's potential is fully fulfilled. We believe at UNFPA in the power of innovation and aim to identify, develop, and catalyze solutions to spur progress towards our mandate in a fast and cost-efficient manner. We also work in support of our national government in achieving the medium-term plan 2, which is part of the Vision 2030 development agenda for our country. And this agenda is one of inclusivity, one of equity, one that leaves no Kenyan behind. At UNFPA, we are now implementing our 8th country program, and we're intervening in 9 counties. Our relationship with the government of Kenya started in 1972 and has progressively grown, and have intervened in the areas of maternal health, adolescent health, gender equality and equity, population and development. And we continue to do so. And in this country program, we are privileged to have support from our partners here, Ministry of Health, NCPD, and most significantly, support even from the highest office in the country, His Excellency the President of our Republic, who is a champion for young people, and Her Excellency the First Lady, who champions reduction of maternal mortality and morbidity. So this has really for us. Our program also focuses on addressing inequalities. Kenya, though we have made significant progress in our agenda for reduction of maternal mortality, now has an MMR, a maternal mortality ratio of 362, which was recorded in the Kenya Demographic Health Service survey of 2014. The reduction is welcome. It's a decline from 488, but you will all understand that this is now unfinished business. We have migrated from the MDGs, we are moving to the SDGs, so we still have a lot to do. We are concerned about the adolescents who continue to contribute highly to this figure, and we're also concerned about 15 of our 47 counties that continue to have unacceptably high maternal mortality rates. I'm also pleased to inform you that the 9 counties we intervene in, form part of these 15 counties where the inequities are glaring. And so we're working together with our government partners and our county government partners to improve on this reality. Science, technology, and innovation play a tremendous role in driving progress. And we believe that here in Kenya, with the strong leadership of our government and partners such as NILAB, we are at a turning point to do this. Last year in June, the President of the States, Barack Obama, called us the hotbed of innovation. Our own president also has referred to us as the hotbed of entrepreneurship. So given the hotness of the day, I think it is appropriate that we are here to explore on how we can actually exploit this for all our advantage. We are excited and we are looking forward to seeing innovation, to seeing the wealth of ideas that resides among our young people, and the ideas they have at solving their own problems, solving their own issues in their own way, in their own space. So we really are looking forward to that. We are going to remain in the back, guiding, providing technical assistance as appropriate, so that the information that goes out, the innovations that come out are based on facts, evidence-based, that is factual and accurate. This is very important, that our young people are able to get accurate information that is timely. So this is our window of opportunity to continue in the investment. It's in synergy with the national agenda to achieve the demographic dividend, meaning that in Kenya, like no other time in our history, we have the largest population of young people. And young people are potential. They are the people that if we invest correctly, provide them with the right education, empower them with the right information, including health information on their sexual and reproductive health, and also provide platforms of employment, we can actually leapfrog our situation here in Kenya to generate and to invigorate our economy that is going to help us come up like the Asian tigers. And that is what we call the demographic dividend. So this is just one of the several things that can be done by several of us to achieve this national goal. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, Sam, and your team here at NILAB. This could not have been possible without the funding of DFID from the governments of the United Kingdom. We are very grateful for that. Our colleagues in Johannesburg, and of course, my colleagues here in Kenya and the young people. So thank you, all of you, and Asanteni, we look forward to a very exciting, innovative time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judith. As you can see, we're now beginning to delve into what we would call the meat of the matter. And to further the conversation, ladies and gentlemen, would now like to give opening remarks on behalf of the United Nations Fund, Regional Director, East and Southern Africa, Dr. Campbell Bright, the Senior Program Manager for the Regional Initiative. Welcome, Dr. Campbell.
Good morning, Mambo, dear distinguished guests. I'm very pleased to be able to make these remarks today on behalf of Dr. Julita Onabanjo, UNFPA's Regional Director for East and Southern Africa, as mentioned. The Sustainable Development Goals recognize innovation as key to accelerating progress towards the achievement of global development targets. Development has much to benefit from the radical disruption that innovation can offer. And I say this as someone who worked in the Silicon Valley throughout the 1990s. Our region's youth, some of whom are in this room today, helped drive that innovation with their energy and passion. At UNFPA, innovation is increasingly receiving the attention it deserves. This was demonstrated by the Global Innovation Fund that UNFPA established in 2014. This helps fund deliveries of condoms and other health-related products to healthcare workers in remote areas of Ghana by unmanned aerial vehicles, otherwise known as drones. Delivery time was cut from 2 days to 30 minutes. Interest in the program has soared, if you'll pardon the pun, and spans several countries and a broad range of products. This is an example of how government investment in technology can benefit broader uses. As we know, drones were developed for military use and military intelligence, but are now used in a wide range of capacities such as peacekeeping, tracking elephant and rhino ivory poachers, and delivering goods. As their uses are shifting, so are the regulations governing that use, as is often the case with technology. Also in Africa, the Kingdom of Lesotho recently became the very first country on our planet to conduct a population and housing census using handheld devices and a new CS Pro Android environment, a software developed by the United States Census Bureau. Based on the learning and success in Lesotho and a group of young African statisticians and demographers, this work will be rolled out to more countries in the region and beyond. More recently, and the reason we are gathered here today, the government of the United Kingdom further supports innovation through a 2-year regional program that I'm honored to manage, Preventing Maternal Death in East and Southern Africa. This program aims to increase the availability of robust evidence and proven innovation related to sexual and reproductive health, as well as improve awareness of, access to, and uptake of family planning and related services and products across the region. Thank you to those from DFID who joined us here today. The initiative launched today is part of this DFID-funded program, and we're delighted to see the first UNFPA Innovation Accelerator take off in Kenya. We also want to thank the government of Kenya, the UNFPA country office, NILAB, and all of our other partners for making this, many of whom also join us today. As we already heard, the IDA Accelerator is a concerted effort of government, non-government, and private sector organizations. I also want to thank in advance all who participate in the upcoming innovation cycles, particularly those who will receive funding to advance this important work. We look forward to the results from Kenya, in part because they will inform future innovation cycles. These cycles will take place in other countries in the region and beyond, and promote continual learning and South-South collaboration to strengthen UNFPA's programs and the impact they have on improving people's lives. Partnerships will be critical to making this happen, and we send an open invitation for collaboration. Let me take a moment to mention a couple of key issues and statistics this region faces, some of which Judith and Sam alluded to for Kenya. The population in East and Southern Africa region is about 500 million, and it will likely reach 1 billion soon after the year 2050. Most of us in this room will see that demographic milestone, 1 billion people in the East and Southern Africa region. A third of the current population is between the ages of 10 and 24, our youth. The time is now to plan for and capitalize on this young population by ensuring they are healthy, educated, and employed. Each woman in Eastern Southern Africa has an average of 4.8 children. More than 10% of girls between the ages of 15 and 19 give birth. As Sam mentioned, women and girls in this region face marriage, HIV, pregnancy at young ages, and receive less education than their male counterparts. The increasing number of humanitarian crises in the region and around the world also drives more gender-based violence and more maternal death. None of this will likely be new news, but there is some good news. The region's governments, including that of Kenya, are increasingly supportive of sexual and reproductive health, rights, and education. Our region's youth is receiving that education and demanding products and services that they much deserve. Let us help them do so through the Innovation Accelerator. Further innovation will help catalyze the vast and deep knowledge that the region and its youth have to offer. This project helps to harness that knowledge, combine it with the innovation and energy that the youth bring, and will address the problems that we face here and around the world. I love it when I see a global innovation that has originated from Africa, such as solar cookers and M-Pesa. I truly hope that the Innovation Accelerator and this program will offer up such success. As the recently late Muhammad Ali said, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." I think we should add a "she" to the beginning of that quote, and likewise encourage women and girls in the STEM. So, he or she who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. I thank you all for joining us today, for helping us take those risks as we undertake this exciting adventure in a time that is so dynamic in the fields of both innovation and reproductive health. I look forward to the time when we see the results of the Innovation Accelerator on improved knowledge, services, and lives. Asante sana, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Campbell. Another round of applause for UNFPA. I must add that this is the first time that this initiative is being launched by UNFPA. So indeed, we stand at the precipice of a very special moment in time. It's a historic initiative. It's being launched here in Nairobi, Kenya. We do not take it for granted. I think Nairobi, as Dr. Campbell, who has worked in Silicon Valley previously, has now began to realize a greater potential. Let's share the conversation. We have free Wi-Fi here, and if you go to your Wi-Fi, you'll see I am, it's open, so use your Wi-Fi. Let's get onto social media. Let's begin to talk about it. Let's begin to have a conversation. We have the Twitter handles, Facebook, you can see all the handles out there. You can send pictures, feel free to take selfies, and let's have the conversation going. It's a very exciting conversation. I'd just like to take a step back and say, again, thank you very much to UNFPA as well as UKAID for supporting this initiative. We don't take it for granted. However, you have heard already from Judith that His Excellency, the President of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, have supported this initiative as well. This would not be possible without the participation and representation of government directly. And therefore, it would be also remiss of us if we were not able to recognize and allow the government of Kenya from its various arms and bodies to be able to address this audience and to welcome us into the conversation and give us a perspective from a policy point of view in terms of how do we see this conversation rolling out and mapping out. And in order to do so, I'd now like to invite for the keynote address, Dr. Josephine Kibaru from the National Council for Population Development. Help me in welcoming Dr. Josephine Kibaru to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Keegan, representing the Ministry of Health, UNFPA country and regional representatives, CEO NILAB, many colleagues and friends in the room, and the young people, it's your day. I think you should even be more than us. We appreciate you, we love you, and as government, we are here to support this initiative. I'm really delighted to be here this morning during this launch of the Innovator Accelerator by UNFPA in partnership with NILAB. I may look a little old, but I'm very young at heart. So any issue related with young people really touches me, and I left a lot in the office to be here with you this morning because it's really, really a good opportunity for Kenya to be launching this initiative. My name is Dr. Josephine Kibaru Mbae. I'm the Director General of the National Council for Population and Development. Many people ask me what is NCPD. So NCPD is a state agency under the Ministry of Devolution and Planning. We are responsible for coordinating issues to do with population and development in this country. And there's no bigger population issue right now, or even in the past, than discussing matters which affect the young people. I will be diving into some statistics because I think we need to put what we are doing into perspective for Kenya. Currently, the youthful population in Kenya stands at 66%. That is the population below 25 years. These are the young, innovators, aggressive. This is the group we are talking about. And those, the adolescents, that age 10 to 19, represent about 24% of our population. In absolute numbers, we're talking about 9.2 million young people. 9.2 million young people. So this gives us an opportunity with this huge number of young people. We can harness this potential for the good of this country, or if we don't invest in them, then it can, and we have already seen the potential for this big population of young people becoming a problem for the country. But we are hopeful, and that's why we are part of this initiative, because we know that if we harness their potential, then the gains, both socioeconomic, are very high for our country. Even as we speak about this possibility of investing and gaining from this population, we know there are a lot of challenges and barriers which impede these young people in reaching their full potential. There are some scaring or worrying statistics which as a country we have to acknowledge and agree. How do we move from those negative statistics to what we want to? Well, for instance, 29,000 young people aged 15 to 24 are getting infected with HIV every year. 29,000. 15 to 24, these are young people in high school, in universities, and they are getting infected with the consequences of infection, of HIV/AIDS infection. 17% of all AIDS-related deaths, are occurring among the adolescents. These are big figures. We also know that from the latest statistics by Kenya Bureau of Statistics that 1 in every 5 teenage girls, teenagers 10 to 14 to 15, 15 to 19, 1 in 5 of them are pregnant or have delivered a baby, 15 to 19. These are almost primary school kids and high school kids. 13,000 of our girls are dropping out of school from pregnancy and pregnancy-related programs. About 20,000 of them each year are seeking abortion services. And the highest cause of maternal mortality and morbidity among girls below 20 years is abortion-related complications. These are real figures, and as a country, we need to embrace the situation and then ask ourselves, what are the problems? There are many reasons, but one of the key ones which have been found significant is lack of correct information on sexual and reproductive health. Information, because information empowers anybody, me, you, the young people in particular. So lack of this proper information, they seek it from social media, they seek it from their peers, and this makes the young people, both boys and girls, vulnerable to coercion, abuse and exploitation, sexually transmitted infections, including HIV/AIDS, the figures I indicated earlier, and unintended pregnancies leading to those pregnancy complications. We all need to find solutions to these issues to enable our young people realize their full potential. We also have an issue of unemployment of young people. The government is investing in several initiatives trying to get our young people in gainful employment, but we know currently about 46% of the unemployment affects the young people. Kenya is in a demographic transition, as indicated earlier by Judy and also our colleague from the region. So there's reason for optimism. I don't want us to sit in this room looking all miserable, like there's nothing at the end of the channel. There is reason for optimism and an opportunity for us to reap from that demographic situation we are in, what is known as demographic dividend. It is estimated that we can be able to reap this in the next 15 to 20 years, but we have to put investments in the right places. This, as has been indicated here and elsewhere, is just a window of opportunity, which will last for a few years, maximum of 40 years, but in Kenya, the estimates are 29 years from our own studies done here in the country. So to harness that window for improvement in our economic development or productivity, then we need to do certain things. Last year, in collaboration with UNFPA, I co-authored a paper, and we were discussing what are those specific steps which as a country we need to take so as to be able to reap this dividend and take opportunity of this window. First, we need to improvement in the health of our people, and especially reproductive health, family planning, and nutrition, especially for girls, young women, and children, because this will contribute to decreasing in the number of children born in each family, also improve survival, and we will have fewer dependents, so there is more disposable household income, leading to investment in education and employment opportunities. So the health sector, we need to put a lot of our attention to it, especially reproductive health, family planning, and nutrition. The second is investing in the education of the young people. This is appropriate education with skills development, so that the young people who leave our training in institutions, the universities, the technical and vocational training institutions, can be able to participate in economic development, because they will have the right skills for the job. So it's not just education for the sake of education. Then the third is to have an economic environment where the educated youth can find well-paid, decent jobs. Economic policies, therefore, must target job creation in areas that have potential for long-term returns. This, we think, includes technical and vocational education, the area of agriculture and technology, and I believe that's why we are here talking of innovations, because these are areas which can give us long-term gains and also be able to engage our young people in different sectors. So investment in health, education, and economic policies must also be underpinned by good governance. We cannot overemphasize the issue of good governance, because we need the public to exercise authority, to be able to have the rule of law and enhance human rights. And this should be applied universally, so that even these opportunities are available for every young people in Nairobi, in Kwale, I don't know, in Mandera, and so forth. And this, we need strong, good governance for this to happen. So ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I want to note that ensuring healthy, educated, productive populations can actually make Kenya's dream of a prosperous middle to high income country a reality in our lifetime. But we have to make it happen. We can't just sit back and hope somebody else will do it for us. That's why this initiative we are launching today will go a long way in helping this dream become a reality. Tapping on the innovations of the youth is very commendable. As we were told earlier, and the President of America said it's a bedrock of innovators, and we know there are innovations which are happening at all levels, but we need to actualize those innovations and scale them up so that we can be able to get our country to the next level. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Director General, NCPD, Dr. Josephine Kibaru. I think what is key for us and what is important for us is the fact that she said something very important. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Loads of statistics, but hope is in the air. The initiative is focused, being driven by young people. And we are working, as you've already heard mentioned, with data, with quantifiable, measurable statistics. So we're looking at innovators doing wonderful things through use of accurate data and technology. But guess what? We're coming out of our shells. Our traditional shells don't allow for very comfortable conversations in and around these areas. However, we believe with this initiative, we're going to break a mold that is going to save many future generations and is going to bridge the digital divide and bring us that digital dividend that we're looking for the next couple of years. I'm very pleased to see some young people in the room and some of the teenagers that are in the room. I brought my own daughter who's 16 years old, so she actually fits into that. I can see Oleronke Jr. also in the room. And so now we're going to step into the meat of the matter. We have a presentation, and it's again my privilege to welcome onto the platform Mr. Ruben Belenga from UNFPA to walk us through the actual presentation. Let's welcome Ruben.
Thank you, Delano, and thank you everybody for being here with us, both in the room and on live stream. What we thought would be valuable now is just show you a bit our plans, talk more about what the Innovation Accelerator actually is. So what we really want to achieve in the end is by using the power of youth, by using the power of innovation, and by using the power of entrepreneurship, that we scale up access to youth-friendly sexual health and information and services. We want to get the conversation started. We want to find better solutions to harness the power of young people in Kenya. So how do we want to go about this? We're launching it now today. We hope this will be an inspiring, exciting session. And we hope it will energize and mobilize already some of you to start going to our website and then start submitting your ideas, your solutions, to put yourself into the challenge, the competition which we're launching today. On top of the launch, we'll also have a couple of boot camps. We'll go to the universities. We'll be very active on social media in order to inspire, inform, and engage as many people as possible. And again, encourage people to submit their applications. Then out of all those applications, there will be a bit of a vetting process by the system, like is all the applications, are they good? But there will also be an expert panel of judges looking at your solutions and trying from all these applications, make a long list of 10 most promising solutions provided by or submitted by the most high potential, most promising entrepreneurs. Then those 10 solutions will be invited, and this will be to a pitching day on August 2, to pitch that solution and to be really confronted with serious questions to this expert panel of judges. Say like, have you thought through your business model? How does your management look like? What is the solution? Have you done a market analysis? Do you think it will work? How do you think it will work? And those expert panel of judges will select 4 winners. And those 4 winners will be enrolled in an acceleration program of 4 months, which is 2 big components. One, there's a lot of mentoring, coaching, and training in how to better set up your business and how to fine-tune the prototype so that it really becomes really ready for scale, ready to go to market. Then the second part after the second, after 2 months, we'll continue with the coaching and mentoring, but really focus more at the go-to-market stage. On top of that, there will be seed funding provided from 1 million shilling to each of the winners to invest or going to market, so that you have some capital up your sleeve to make things happen. After this, on the 30th of November, then hopefully some solutions have proven successful, some businesses have been proven successful, because no solution will be successful with a solid business, with a solid enterprise behind it. And then there will be a final demo day. This demo day will be more also a large marketing case, because there will be a lot of investors, potential funders, to bring you even further to scale and to bring the solution even to more young people. Because in the end, it's not really about the company, it's not really about the success, it's about reaching as many young people with the solution, which really can harness their potential. Important to note also is that there will be a lot of documentation, there will be a lot of feedback, there will be a lot of interaction with the ones who submitted the application, but also the ones who just discuss and join our journey. Because this is the first time UNFPA Kenya is doing it, and the ambition is large. The ambition is, this is the first one, but we hope to continue for many more years with partners as NIDA, and of course under the guidance of the government. But we also hope to go to scale. We hope to go beyond Kenya. There's colleagues of us with us from Burundi, from Uganda, from Tanzania, who really want to model this also. So we don't think only Kenya. We don't only think this initiative. We think really broad. So learning is needed for that. Documentation is needed for that. Feedback is needed for that. So then join that conversation so that we can learn and we can do it together. So in short, like, why join? Of course, like, because you want to chase your dreams, and we hope you want to be in control, and we hope you want to be a game changer, and we hope we are bold enough to really join. But as said, there's also something in it. So for all the winners, there will be this free access to the acceleration program. There will be free access to training, product and business training, marketing and everything. Seasoned industry mentors from globally renowned companies, as for example Philips and Safaricom, who will be joining us. Serial entrepreneurs as Dr. Tucker in the health space. Sam himself will mentor. So there was really, really strong mentorship lined up to make things happen and make things successful. We will provide linkages to investors. Nothing happens without money. Let's be realistic. If there's no money, there's no skill. So we'll try to facilitate such things. And then the linkages to the partners to help go to market. By yourself, often you won't be able to do it. You need to have your value chain, you need to have your distribution chain. So we'll try to facilitate those connections. And then the last, and for some people maybe foremost, for us it's maybe the less important, but there will be this investment capital lineup of 1 million shilling. I need to say, it will be only unlocked if you meet milestones you agree on at the beginning of the program. It's a 4-month program. We'll sign an agreement and say, like, how do we want to become successful together, and what is expected of both sides. We won't drop out. If for whichever reason the successful winner won't be able to meet the milestone, then there will be consequences. So that's important to know. But that the 1 million will be for each of the winners. So this is just the start, and this is just the tip of the iceberg which we wanted to share. We hope really to receive many applications. Thank you all partners in the room, and yeah, have a great night.
Thank you very much, Ruben. As you can see, it's now getting exciting. 4 million Kenya shillings was just put on the table. We're looking to our youngsters, innovators. This is the iAccelerator. And now we're going to move into another exciting portion of our program today, which is the actual panel discussion. For many thousands of years in Africa, conversations have been held in African communities. Even here in Kenya, when there's a challenge in the community, the elders, the youngsters gather together. When the elders and the youngsters gather together, they address the challenge and they address the issue. In today's world, we now bring to this gathering one such panel. We have a gathering of the elders, we have a gathering of some of the youngsters. We're going to discuss an important issue. In the community where I come from, the Wakamba, we call it Chade. In your own language, you may have this similar type of setting. It's time for my panel. It's time for a Chade. It's time for us to meet, to talk, to address the issue. And therefore, I'm now going to begin to invite my panelists to join me up front, and beginning with the government of Kenya, representing the Cabinet Secretary, C.S. Mailu, from the Ministry of Health. He is the head of reproductive and maternal health services at the Ministry of Health. He is a medical doctor, obstetrician, and gynecologist, and he has been developing and working on adolescent reproductive health programs under this unit for the last 9 years. It's my great privilege to welcome to my panel, Dr. Kigen Bartilo. Please have a seat. Joining Dr. Kigen on the panel, we have from UNFPA. He is an innovation and knowledge management program specialist at UNFPA East and Southern Africa Regional Office in Johannesburg. He works in evidence, knowledge, and innovation unit. He has helped nurture innovative thinking and developed innovation processes promoting the data revolution across the entire region. He has developed the initial concept for the UNFPA Innovation Accelerator, this very iAccelerator. He developed it in 2015. He's now leading the implementation, which is a component of the UK aid-funded PRIM-DESA program, with Kenya being the very first country to launch this innovation challenge, and 3 more challenges planned in the region between now and 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the platform, Davide Piga. Welcome, Davide. Please take your seat. Now, we're not too sure whether Piga is actually a Kiswahili name. You know, Piga means peace. You know that. You are aware of that. We'd also like to welcome to our panel today, representing the youth as well, but she's also a human rights lawyer with keen interest in human rights of young people. She enjoys working with young people to come up with effective and innovative ideas in addressing the different human rights challenges faced by young people. She's currently a member of the Youth Advisory Panel to UNFPA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Joy Muthoni. Welcome, Joy. And last but not least, we'd like to welcome this gentleman who leads one of Kenya's leading incubator hubs. This guy was recognized in 2015 during the State of the Nation address by His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He has successfully incubated entrepreneurs since the hub began in 2010. Some of its startups include Kuhustle, Weza Tele, Keja Hunt, which won the 2015 Vision 2030 ICT Awards, PayKind, Gladline, Soko Text, and Neza Education, Kenya's fastest growing mobile learning company. He also serves as the vice chair of the technical team that put together the first ever Kenyan National Innovation Forum, and that happened last year. He's also part of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, where we hosted President Barack Obama last year, and he has a host of accolades, which are too long to mention. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sam Gichuru from Naira. Karibu Sam. Welcome. Let's take our seats. So in order to just start us off in terms of the conversation that we'd like to have, I think we've talked about quite a number of challenges. We've talked about some statistics. Some of these statistics, we have 66% of the total Kenyan population that's now made up of the youth, young people. How perilous is it when we say that 29% of new HIV infections occur to young people below 24 years, and what are some of the causes? Maybe we can start off with Dr. Kigen.
Thank you. We know that adolescent health is really a priority for us as a country, as a government. And in the ministry, we did know that this is actually a priority. We revised the policy last year, announced it last year, adolescent sexual and reproductive health policies. And in view of this revision, we looked at a few things that have happened. One is that policies and guidelines all over the world have changed. Two, we know that the forum that we had before, we had no policy. ICT wasn't addressed there. So I think that made us revise the policy. And basically look like the things that really address the issue that the youth have in terms of reproductive health. Here we talk about STI, HIV, an issue and a challenge, including HPV infection, cervical cancer. We have talked about teenage pregnancy, the high figures have been given. We've talked about unintended pregnancies. We've talked about harmful practices. It's not just those of the terms of reproductive health. We know there are things outside reproductive health, drug and substance abuse. We know there are issues of FGM, child marriages, cultural issues that really affect the youth. So we want to work with everybody to see how we can be able to address these issues. They are addressable. One is that when you're developing policy among the youth, we must involve the youth. Even as when we're developing the policy, it isn't just the ministry sitting there with partners, but also the youth were involved and come up with innovative ways of them to get the right information. Information is there, but it's strict. We need to get them the right information, and for us as a ministry to be able to provide for them the services that they require for their purposes. We said 15-year-old on this side may want antenatal clinic. Another one, we just want more information about what happens to my body. So these are the kind of innovations and information we want to get out there to the youth. So as we keep getting this innovation, let's get it to the youth. It's not for us, as though we are young and youthful at heart, but for the youth to get the information. I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you. Davide, your view.
My view is that I completely agree on the fact that we need to involve young people in taking issues that affect them. Now, at Innovation, our mandate is specifically to deliver a world in which each pregnancy is wanted, each childbirth is safe, and also in which each young people's potential is fulfilled. And we know that sexual and reproductive health issues massively affect young people in their potential. And we thought through this initiative, at the basis of the design of the initiative, we had the idea of involving young people because they are the ones that are affected by the issues. And so we believe that the best solutions are usually found right close to where the problems are. So we thought of asking them to think about the problems, asking them to come up with ideas for solutions, but we also thought of going one step further and asking them to actually develop those solutions by providing suitable ground for their ideas to be properly nurtured and mentored and developed into something that we can actually scale up. Now, this allows us also to tackle another issue involving young people with unemployment. So it's two birds with one stone. So it's a very great advantage of this approach.
Thank you, Davide, and great to see the innovation coming out. You burst large portions of this stream, and the way you put it, I like it. I think we're talking about giving young people a fighting chance. I like the quote earlier by Dr. Campbell where she's quoting from Muhammad Ali about taking the risks. And sometimes it's impossible, especially in Africa, rural parts of Africa, and even some urban parts of Africa. It's very difficult for young people to get a chance. I think the initiative looks like it's beginning to open up, to give us and give young people a fighting chance. Somebody who has fought, won many battles, carried many belts and trophies, Sam Gishuru. This issue, the youth part, the challenge, the disease burden, and now the innovation. Why?
Well, as I was saying earlier, I think what you see is that the youth, first of all, there's a lot of misinformation out there. If we have the youth using applications like Tinder on one hand, why don't we have them using innovations on the other hand and inform them and empower them? You can see that you give information, that kind of access, and then you don't provide a balance on this other hand, then you actually, there's a lot of damage that happens. It's very, very hard for some of us. I was counting my gray hairs this weekend.
creating in them now. It's very hard for me to start thinking in terms of building Snapchats. When I look at it, I don't see the value of Snapchat for my kids right now. But I can tell you there are people in the room that understand the value of building solutions for their own age group and how they use it. So on one hand, it's the information. We have the information. We have certain knowledge. On the other hand, they have the access, they have the gadgets, and they need this information. This is a perfect time when you bring that information, you give it to them, and let them innovate around that information to empower themselves. And so basically, we are saying, give them the tools that they need, give them the money that they need, give them access to the market that they actually require themselves to be able to partner with organizations like partner with government to be able to crunch the data, and then let them come up with solutions for themselves. Having worked with young people, I've come to realize that it's one thing to come and tell them build X, it's another thing when they come to me and say, I want to build X. Actually, when in the room, I'd like to recognize a few people. Like I see a really young person, and I want you to stand up. Akora Shiri, recognized by Forbes. Please stand up.
Please stand up. There you go. Yeah, that's a young smile.
He's a very young person. He's a co-founder of Eneza, a platform that is being used by over 100,000 students, right? 400,000, around that, for education purposes. And so it's very, very important for him as an example, right? In the room, to say these are the kind of people who will build solutions for themselves. These build solutions for them.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. And now, from a human rights lawyer perspective, you're sitting here and you're staring at all this innovation. You're seeing the government coming together. You're seeing UNFPA coming together. You're seeing leaders, thought leaders, innovators, drivers like Sam coming together and saying we're driving this for the youth. And again, you're seeing the bigger picture. You're seeing the problem, the challenge, the huge youth population, the challenges we're currently walking through. Joy, what are your views?
What I'm liking about all this and people coming together, it's the right way forward, because we're moving from a position where it was one part or one sector addressing the challenges of a specific part of the population. We're moving to a point where we need to come together, come up with innovative solutions. But the bigger picture I'm saying is, what is the sustainability? Because we come up with very innovative ideas for young people, but we never follow up to see how many young people are actually updating these ideas that you're coming up with. For young people on the issue of reproductive health, it's all a matter of information. Young people at 16, at 15 want to know what is sex, what is happening. And if you do not have the information, you will look for the information yourself. And one to you, from the statistics, it says that the information they are getting is not correct and accurate information, because if they had the right information, they would be making better choices. So for us to come together and talk, young people definitely will want this kind of information. For example, a child who was born with HIV, the parents never made it their business to tell them that my child, you're actually HIV positive. When a child gets to 16, 17, he wants to explore sex like the rest. He does not see why he should use protection. And it's my first time, it's your first time, so there's no risk involved. And these are most of, I can see parents in this room. Parents, it's a time to get out of our cartoons and give children information. What and how you've raised up your child will determine how they handle the information. You'd rather have information and you make better choices than keep away the information from young people. And then 10 years down the line, we come together and wonder, where did we go wrong? And for a fact, the potential in young people is so massive that if Africa harnesses it, we do not need 10 years to stop talking about things like food security. We need, if it is harnessed, because now there is an information gap. There are the young people, yes. There are the older generation that has already been there. But how do we get these two generations to work together? Because it's not just young people who are the potential of the future. They are living now, and they have potential now, which can be exploited now and offer solutions now. So let's come together, but let's look at the larger picture. 50 years down the line, what are the actions I'm doing now affecting the situation of the country 50 years from now?
So let's just hold that thought right there, Joy, just a little bit. Because it's not just about the disease burden and the HIV infections and the HPV infections, as mentioned by Dr. Keegan. We have another challenge, and we have a big challenge in this country. 1 out of every 5 girls from age 15 up, pregnant, dropping out of school, the door closed to a potential future they had. What are your thoughts around that?
Back to my issue of following up. There's a policy on return to school for young girls, but the implementation is still very low because yes, the policy was set up, they had young people involved in the development of the policy, but what happened in following up that these young people are actually going back to school? Because you find schools locking out young girls who have delivered and nothing is being done about it. And nobody wants to talk about it. The child is now supposed to take care of her baby as a mother, and nobody wants to talk about it. It's a don't ask, don't tell situation, and it's just quiet, and it's life. And for the other community, she'll get talking points, not be like so-and-so's daughter who got pregnant. And for her, it was just a mistake, because if you look actually how many young girls are actually engaged in sex, it's just for her, it's that she got caught. And that's the only difference. But what are we doing to these young girls to show them that, yes, when you engage in sex in such and such an age, these are the consequences. But you grow up and your mother tells you, no, don't play with boys. What's that?
So we're talking about sex. And here we're talking about the challenges. Dr. Keegan, I think there's a challenge there. We're not talking about it enough, apparently. From your perspective, maybe just a snapshot. Are we going to have the opportunity to talk about it more through this initiative from your perspective?
I think we should actually, and my challenge to the innovator, we have to reach everybody and discuss the things that are required. We must discuss sex. We talk about adolescent sexual reproductive health. It's purely sex at the center, plus all other reproductive issues. We know as a country, as a ministry, we prioritize reproductive health. And as you look at the Constitution, it says everybody has a right to the highest quality of health, including reproductive health. That puts an emphasis on reproductive health as a country. For us now, what we need to be able to do is get this information out. When we talk about reproductive health, it's not family planning. It's not. It's the whole range of services that you need to give. It's beyond that. There are the issues about puberty, we talk about puberty, we talk about your body, the changes that occur, what happens when you have sex, what you expect after sex. Well, I think that we need to be talking all totality. So when we are doing the innovation, we need to include everything that is around reproductive health. We know as a ministry that we cannot work alone. She has mentioned it very, very strongly. There are many issues. Let's say, imagine like now we have the youth fund. Give a young man a lot of money. What's the first thing you do with it? He doesn't want to use the money. He needs to protect his health as we get that money. So we need to work with all forums that can be able to. Ministry of Education, they have their forums, they have their rights, they have their what they need to do. Parents, guardians, the information they need to give out. In those days, we told, as you are saying, don't play with the boys. What does that mean? Probably are playing soccer. So it needs to be the right information to tell them what they need to do. So it's something that it requires everybody as a team. The olden days society was there to see things have changed. But also we must invest in technology. The technology is there. Let's use that technology to give information.
Thank you, Dr. Keegan. Using technology to give that information. I think we're coming out of a closet as a nation, here in this room, launching this particular initiative. I think it's a very important initiative. And to the audience, I want you to begin thinking about questions that you might want to ask to this very eminent panel as we begin to delve deeper into the conversation. Yesterday afternoon, I had a very long and interesting conversation with the Cabinet Secretary for ICT, Joseph Musheru. And Joseph Musheru was very shocked. He was saying, Delano, it can't be. And I said, no, sir, it is. And the statistic we were arguing about was the fact that 10% of our facilities in this country are able to cater for sexual reproductive health for these adolescents, these teenagers, and these young people from these guys being comfortable to go there and keeping it still confidential. Now, I know a lot of you would argue and say, no, the facilities are equipped, and we have the subject matter experts in the room. I'm very happy to see and recognize Dr. Amit Thaka, one of our mentors for the program, who is here. There are people who know, yes, you have the equipment. However, if you're in Uasin-Gishu and you go to that health center and you're a young girl who just had sex a month or two ago, and suddenly your body is changing, and you want to go there and have a confidential conversation to figure out what is what, and you walk into the waiting room, and in the waiting room, there's your neighbors, there's your other relative, and they're kind of trying to figure out, why are you here? And how come this time you've come without your mom? So we are saying, let's come out of the closet. Let's have a more real conversation. Let's address the issue and challenge. And so CS Musheru has joined hands together with the Ministry of Health, and now we're hearing the Ministry of Education, to see how can we come together as a country, together with UNFPA, UKAID, many organizations, Sam Gishuru, the hubs, the labs, the institutions of higher education. How can we come together, address and solve this issue? So everybody's joining behind this initiative. I thought I'd just share that briefly with you as we step into the next question, which is relevant to that conversation, which is, how can we use technology to leverage and to transform and address the very critical challenges faced by the youth in accessing and engaging with sexuality, that's number one, and sexual reproductive health information and services, because it's not just enough to give the young people information. We need to also give them services, because, hold on, they've got the information, but how do I get the actual help that I need? Now, Davide, you've been the innovator, the brains behind this. Tell us a little about that. How can we leverage technology?
I think when we talk about access to information for young people, we need to look at the intersection between access to information and technology. Technology is the way they consume information. We don't know, and sometimes we know, but we don't understand the way they access and they consume the information. Snapchat has been mentioned. I tried it myself, I don't get it, but I know young people that use it more than WhatsApp, so maybe we should be there. Maybe we should have applications that work similarly on the basis of the same concept of Snapchat. We don't know. We need to ask young people how they would go about accessing information while guaranteeing their safety in terms of privacy. The technology, the tools, the facilities we said they are there, they are maybe not the ones that young people would like to use. And young people have the potential to develop the ones that they use. That's where technology comes in, because it's something that young people understand, consume, and use to create new things.
So it looks like we're moving from the basic, what's available, electronic medical records. And now that we're talking about sexuality, sexual reproductive health, it means that now we have to have a different conversation. It looks like we're going to have to use technology to leapfrog to personal health records, to new designs, new solutions, new systems, but relevant in terms of how the young people talk. It looks like from a security perspective, two-factor authentication may be good enough for Davide and Dr. Keegan, but is it enough for that teenager who wants to keep things very, 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 very confidential? Is 256-bit encryption enough? Do we need to put in cryptography? How do we build this? So over to you, Sam. How can we leverage technology in this matter?
Well, I think in our era, I mean, the land of myself in technology for a very long time, we used to talk about curation, keeping data. And people don't want their data kept. As soon as they type it, they want to see it disappear as well, because they don't want screenshots and things like that. So while security will have to be extremely involved in terms of making sure everybody's data is protected, there's also information that we can keep safe. The information will not leak out there because they don't own it. I think
Gal, Philip Obola will tell you the pictures you post on Facebook and Instagram about you as soon as you post them. They love Facebook. So, so we will have to encourage, we'll have to find ways of working with them within their new desires. Again, we have to just use technology in terms of encryption, extreme security. Let's talk SMS. Somebody in Mandera somewhere, they just don't, they have a simple spy. And they do exactly again difference in what NS has done. And they make an inquiry over SMS on issues of sexual reproductive health to get an answer. And so basically, how will we work with programs like SMS? But then again, we think a bit too far. Young people in university, colleges, why don't we go back to primary school? How can we enable those young people in primary school with some kind of technology, be able to have gamified solutions, practically gamified solutions to teach them about their sexual reproductive health? You know, when they touch a hand, when they touch their body, they can be able to get it, name it, to recognize it, be able to learn as they go along, be able to see the dangers, instead of those really, really badly written books. I'm sure some of you have seen some of those audio books that teach sexual reproductive health and treatment. So yes, security will be a big factor. Internet access, and allow me again to recognize our former government secretary, internet access is going to be one of the major drivers of this conversation. We don't have internet access, and we don't have a really big agenda of internet access. That's why Spaces like this exist today, because of this work. The fact that people can access internet will be very important in schools, and I know CS Missouri is pushing the digital learning program that speak as gadgets. So there are all those other factors that we come into play: fast security, infrastructure, gadget access, a good way of delivering that information so it's friendly and it's useful. A promising way of making sure that information is not saved and is protected, so she doesn't have to show up in that clinic without her mother and everybody looks at her question. I'm wondering where she's there, she can do it straight from the comfort of her. So it's faster encryption to really usability and user-friendly solutions as well.
So talking about usability, and I think you've referenced the Danish model. So in Denmark, it's very open, and you see it in children's books, but in a very legible manner, using cartoon depictions, but being very, very, let's say, eloquent about sexual health and sexual reproductive health. Joy, in terms of technology, do you see this as a solution?
I believe in using all approaches to make sure the job is done. For we have been doing so many things in addressing reproductive health, but the figures are still alarming. Sexualized community where even an advertisement on telly advertising water is sexualized. We need to go to all forms of media, all forms of technology to address this, because young people are being fed from all over. The media, the radio shows we have in the morning when children are going to school, the programs that are there, it's all sexualized. So for us to give the correct information, if it's technology, let's use technology, let's see how much it delivers, because these days you can just be scrolling on, young people are accessing Facebook, for example, and they're just scrolling and someone hacked someone else's account, and the photos that are there are explicit. And this young, okay, they might scroll, but it triggers something in their mind. So if there is something else, another platform, still on the same internet or an application or something, that they can access to find correct information. Because once you see, our society is very visual, once you see it triggers something, it triggers a thirst for information. So if I saw as a 3-year-old is in Facebook. So, but the fact that young people are accessing the internet means it exposes them to both the good and the bad. So there should also be a platform in form of technology where these young people, having seen the good and the bad, they can also get information on what is right, what is relevant, and what can help them in a way that does not obscure their privacy. And because as I say, people don't want to be caught. People don't want to be known that I went to see someone for fertility on issues to do with fertility or family planning or contraception. You want to do it personally and have your privacy respected. So by all means, if it's having the people in the technology field come up with innovative ideas of how we can access such information and still remain anonymous, I think that is the right route.
Thank you so much, Joy. Really sharing from your heart and saying, let's bring back the balance. Let's, there's so much bad out there, but with technology, let's bring the good back into the conversation. And I think that's really key to it. And thank you also, Sam, for recognizing our former PS, Bitang and Demo. We honor you. We recognize you in this room. This is a gathering of the elders. You're one of the elders that historically has really, truly built this nation to the place where it has come to. And we know you are passionate about the youth. So we will be very happy to hear comments from you as we get into our comments time. But just before we get into our comments time, final word from each one of us here on this panel. And the question is going to be, as you close and give us your closing remarks, why is it critical that young people, for the young people, Sam has so many gray hairs today, shave them off. But why are we not using these old horses to drive the technology conversation? Why is it that critical for us young people, for the young people, to drive this particular solution? Let's start with Dr. Keegan.
Statistics will tell them what is required to be done. But the youth themselves can communicate among the youth. I remember a few years ago to create a youth-friendly service in a health center. And nobody would go there because it was there as in a corner. But they need to sit down and agree on what they really want and how to get their services. So for us, I think it's the youth to look at ways that they can be able. And we need to get to the corners of the youth. Their youth is different. They're different youth. They're youth in the vulnerable areas, they're youth in the slums, they're youth in upmarket, they're youth in Mandela. We have to get to all corners of the country. Look at the whole country as a whole and see where we can get the information.
Davide.
I think it's important that we involve young people because of ownership. We're talking about issues that affect them daily. So it is important that we look at them for having a discussion on how to best go about finding solutions to the problems that affect them directly. And also because we're talking about innovations. Now we know that innovation does not live in an office or behind closed doors. Innovation is about collaboration, exchange of knowledge and information and fresh ideas. So it is an honor for UNFPA to do something like this, to sort of involve youth and try to support their education, empower them, and also increase the chances of employment so directly with a program that gives training, mentoring, and seed funding. But it's also a necessary move for us, because if we really want to be innovative, I think we need to open up. We need to get out of our comfort zone and create spaces for testing and experimentation of new ideas and approaches.
Youth for youth, Sam. Your thoughts before your 19th gray beard pops out.
You know what we do ourselves if you ask us to set up, say, a VCT center for the youth? We go to the mall on the ground floor, we pick a nice location, and we set up a VCT center for the youth. And nobody show up. But if you ask a young person, where should the VCT center be? They tell you, see that club I go to every Friday and Saturday? Right inside that club upstairs, we should have a testing center for them. Because there will be a mass there. So our thinking and their thinking is completely different. And so if we let them know that we have resources, we really develop solutions, they won't come to places they're confident. That's why there is actually only the information now, even an approach gap towards solutions. Forget the age gap as well, it's an approach gap for how they approach solutions. I give more examples, but every time we sit to the youth and ask them how they do X, they usually come up with something we have never thought about. And so that is why we should be on there. Our job is to provide information from government, the population, the numbers, the statistics, so they can crunch their data and produce better information and provide them with funding and support, and then all they have. And so that the solutions should happen.
Thank you. Joy, you're representing. Tell us.
I'll give a short illustration. Growing up, the one thing I was looking forward to was a point I could use my own clothes without my mom doing it for me. And that it gave me a sense of responsibility and ownership. So for citizens, and I think it's an innate desire in all human beings that you want programs and issues designed for you have you in participation. And that is the only fair thing for young people. Because we want things that help them, we want things that move them forward. And why not have them in the conversation in the first place? Because we're not just doing things that we can tick it in our agenda that this has been done, this has been done. We're looking to leave legacy, we're looking to have impact, just looking to reduce these numbers. So if the young people are there, they'll definitely honor the different initiatives that are there. And for young people, for example, they don't think something I always joke is the older generation has a linear way of thinking. For a young person, everything is intertwined, from lack of employment to early pregnancy and to her relationships. They're all intertwined. So if you can get a point where all these things are offered in one center without saying, now we're only thinking of health, only think of health. That's the easiest way to block out a young person. But as Sam was saying, give them opportunity. They'll come up with interesting ideas that you never have thought of. And that way they'll uptake them and have ownership of them.
Thank you. Now my panel, I'd like you to get ready for questions. We're going to have remarks and comments from the audience. But before we have the remarks and questions, I'm actually going to request for 2 comments, very, very brief comments. And I'm going to pick out, first of all, one of our hosts for the national conversation, as well as the national prayer breakfast, Oleronke. Kindly stand up, just give us your comment on this matter. You've been involved in the national conversation just 2 weeks ago, as well as the national prayer breakfast, which hosted His Excellency the President of Kenya. Give us your comments in terms of this initiative.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, again. That is a nice ambush. But we had a great time having what we call the national conversation. One of the highlights for me in facilitating that process under the subject of cohesion, national cohesion, with what is going on in this country. The interesting part for me was a young man from Turkana, whom we invited to tell us of an initiative that he took. He's a runner, he's a gold medalist for this country. And he took an initiative and walked 800 kilometers through 6 counties to try and get the people who are warring among each other in that northern region to talk to each other, to talk with one another. This is a young man who took the initiative and eventually got embraced by the rest of the community. For me, what we are discussing here today is how do we get and give the young people the platform to actually be able to tell the rest of us who think we know when we don't, how to deal with that younger population. Now, I spent 18 years working with an organization that works with young people globally, based in Africa, working Asia, Latin America, and across, of course, our own continent. And the biggest thing we have, if the adults can just wake up and give that microphone to the young person, create that space for those young people to talk back, to discuss back with us as adults, we will have a much better society and fewer problems. That is my comment.
Thank you, Bwana Oleronke. Now, again, it would be remiss for us. I'm going to ask PS Bitange Ndemo, former PS, to kindly stand and comment, because I think it will also be a challenge if you don't say anything. We don't want you to pass. So please stand up and just give us your comments with regards to this initiative.
Thank you. I want to say just 3 points. Some homework for everybody here. I'm a teacher now. That's why I want to give you a homework. If you could go home today and I watched a TED talk by Sue Desmond Hellman. She is the CEO of the Gates Foundation, talking about precision public health, use of ICTs to change the way we look at public health. And this is precisely what we are discussing here. Last week, yes, I was in Washington, D.C. I've been visiting counties just to talk about ICTs. And they worked so hard, invested so much money to build village polytechnics, which would provide training to youth. No one youth has enrolled in those village polytechnics. Nobody wants to be a plumber, and we need plumbers. Nobody wants to be a mason, and we need masons. I'm just telling you how complex our youth are. Very complex people, very short attention span, in the sense that we can go ahead and make this, and probably wouldn't look at it. We'll be looking at some studies to see how they think. And as people begin, and maybe I'll get some time to talk to some, before we begin to develop, we need to understand them a little bit. Meaning that a book won't help them. We need sound bites, we need games around sex and sexual activity. And then we must begin to educate Africans, parents. They don't talk about sex. I can tell you that I grew up to a teenager, almost an adult, thinking that God brought children at night. This is what we were told. And we used to be born at night. In the morning, you find a baby, you say, so what happens when the angels brought this? We should stop that nonsense and tell people that this came as a result of him and her. That way they can begin to relate it to themselves. Africans must begin to develop Africa 2.0 language or culture. This is what we must begin to do. And lastly, we need to closely work with experts. The developers, usually very young people, work alone, but they must begin to work with, like Dr. Tarida, to develop these solutions. Because sometimes we work with the knowledge that we have when we could have leveraged some of the knowledge. I think we need this time to do it differently so that we can develop more robust solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, former PS Ndemo. I'd now like to open up the floor for remarks, questions. Kindly raise your hand. We're only going to take 3 of these, and it has to be gender balanced, so I only see gentlemen raising your hands. The ladies are very shy. So we'll start off, let's start off over here, this corner. Kindly stand up, tell us your name, where you're from, and then brief remark or brief question to the panel.
Good morning. My name is Philip Ogola. I call myself a digital humanitarian. I use digital to mentor youth to champion social good causes. And I'm actually humbled that this initiative has actually come at a better time. I've been in mentorships, I've done about 40 schools where I mentor youth on online safety. And the key thing which actually came out was low self-esteem. These youth suffer from low self-esteem. And where do they get comfort? Online. So when they go online, they get strangers. They get people who actually adore them, they appreciate them. They end up having sex. I've had cases of 2 youth being raped. It's actually sad. And when I actually sat down and talk with them, it's quite sad that parents actually oblivious of this. Our parents don't know our youth. One of the kids told me that my parents have bought me an iPad, he gives me money, I have like 100 G's in my account, but it's never there. So parents, please talk to these kids. This girl was actually raped. The parents was never there. She met someone online who appreciated her, told her she's beautiful, ended up being HIV positive and being pregnant. So to me, I'm looking at this initiative giving the youth a platform where they can actually engage. where they can actually talk, and parents also need to know and be part of this. So to me, I want to challenge even the ministry, because I find it a bit detached, even other agencies. We need to come down and bite the bullet. It's time we talk to the youth. There's no one mentoring them. Our media is busy, they become commercial. Our parents, we're busy looking for money. If right now all of us will leave the house at probably 6 in the morning, we'll be back at 11. We don't know who this kid has been. We give them a hand back. The parents have given the role of parenting to the teachers. The teachers, the class is so full, it doesn't give attention to detail. So these kids are left to the online. So to me, I'm looking at giving these kids a safety net where they can actually engage, where they can actually open up, where they can vent, or they can get it. So again, like Bitanya, I want us to challenge ourselves. What role are we playing to mentor these kids? Because each one of us has a role as a parent, as a youth, as a brother, as a sister. So this initiative actually come at a better time when we need to address this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a comment or a remark. So we'll first go with the gentleman whose hand is up, and then we'll come back to you. So that, kindly stand, tell us your name, question to the panel or comment.
Hello, my name is Bernard Onyango from the African Institute for Development Policy. Mine is a quick one, and just like when you ask who wants to ask questions, and you ask where the gender balance, I was quickly looking at your website. I think it's not too late to have female mentors. I think these are 7 men here, and no women that are mentoring. Seriously.
Very good. These are the kind of constructive questions that we want. So coming straight, Madame.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Dr. Njeri Mwaura. I work for the World Bank Group, and I lead a program that focuses on...
We just appointed you as a mentor.
Creating an enabling environment for the private sector. One of the things we work on is policy and regulations, and it's been supporting the government, the private sector, on the e-health strategy for Kenya. Those are just some of the things that we do. But in my previous life, I worked for AMREF, and I was leading an HIV and AIDS program. And one of the studies we did on the youth in Western Kenya was on sexual and reproductive health. And it was a qualitative study. And one of the things that came out is the youth are more scared of being pregnant than being HIV positive. And I think there was an article recently on that in the paper. So my question, and this is to everyone in the room, as we're talking about innovation and ICT. Pregnancy is very visible. You know, parents will kill me. Everybody in the society will know I'm pregnant. I was a teenage mother, teenage father, for those who are responsible enough. And so my question is that HIV is not visible. You know, you can hide it. Even as a youth, if you're HIV positive, you can hide it. You'll be on treatment. Nobody ever needs to know. So, and you know the youth like visible things. The youth like risks. Yeah. And that's why you have so much innovation amongst the youth. So the question is to us is what can we do to change? I think it's a very cultural perception. It's a challenge to the mothers, fathers, and to the youth. You know, how do we make HIV and AIDS more visible, I guess more scary? You know, if people know I'm HIV positive, it's a big deal. As you know, if you look at the women, the youth who are pregnant, it's the same, 20%, 20%. So they go hand in hand. So we cannot talk about decreasing HIV infection, well, decreasing teenage pregnancy, but we're not talking about the HIV infections. Thank you.
So this goes now back to the panel. I think we have 2 questions so far. I'll open up for one last question. Right at the back, I know there's another lady here, we might just for the sake of gender allow that. Right at the back corner, the guy with glasses, kindly stand up, tell us your name.
My name is Purwa. Now, my question is, actually, comment on the question. I grew up when Rafael Tuju was doing his videos, right? And those things scared the shit out of me. You could not look at a girl twice without looking at those images and saying gonorrhea. Yeah, and that, but I guess it doesn't work for the kids of these days, right? Here's the thing, there's a guy called Ezekiel. You all know him. Ezekiel Mutua. The truth is, we all talk about content, and content is king. And we might need to get a lot more honest and a lot more graphical about the content we give these guys. Of course, it's going to be private, because I'm thinking mobile app, etc., so I can give them. So this is how this thing is done. But Ezekiel will come and label that as porn. right? So how then, someone, a World Bank policy expert, how then do we circumnavigate issues like that so that it can actually be real? Because if we can't, like you said, they're not going to read books. They're not going to look at illustrations. They need to be shown stuff, right? So how do we circumnavigate that, be real? Because at the end of the day, it's either that or they go to Pornhub and they start trying to experiment all these things. And that's how deep and real we need to get. So I think that's one of the main challenges, both from a content perspective and policy, that I'd like to see how we address.
Thank you, Mbugua. The final question. There's a lady right here in the front, the red top. It's the final question. Unfortunately, now I'm going to ask you to go to Twitter, ask your questions on Twitter. We have our Twitter handle, we have Facebook. Kindly ask your questions, responding to those as they come in. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Yvonne Gitao from the Academy of Sciences, and I manage the Grand Challenges Africa program, which is basically trying to fund young innovators to get to use science and business for social innovation. My question as a parent is how do you actually educate the parents to accept this IT technology? I have a 15-year-old, and the first thing I do when I go home is switch off the Wi-Fi, because I don't trust it. And this is me, who's an educated parent. So how do you actually educate parents to support their children to use this technology that we are still not sure is not the devil? That's really my question for you.
Very nice. So guys, I'm coming back to the panel. Now I'm going to ask my very eminent panel over here to answer one question each. So you can pick and choose among the questions that have actually emerged over here. First question was gender balance. I mean, we have Dr. Amit Thakur. He's a very handsome guy. But just guys. You know, where's the gender balance on that? In terms of that, we've come back again. The HIV question. Are we addressing the HIV question? And then Mbugua Njihia, who we all know, but he still had to introduce himself, is saying, can we scare politically correct English everything out of the young guys so that they don't actually get messed up? So Mbugua with his kind comments over there. And then here we have a parent who is saying, when I go home, I switch off my Wi-Fi, not knowing that the teenagers have already connected to 3 other neighbors' Wi-Fi and are downloading torrents and probably running cybercrime in Ukraine as your teenager at 15 years old. So guys, it's pick and choose. I want you to just raise your hand, panel, pick one of the questions, and as we go, of course, there's going to be the law of diminishing returns. Last person with their hands up on my panel, of course, gets the hardest question. Let's start. Let's follow protocol. So over to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Keegan.
I think mine is just the issue of teens being scared of pregnancy more than HIV. I think this has been a story, it's been around. And when you talk about sexual reproductive health, it is sexual reproductive health, including HIV. If you look at when I was talking about the priorities, we talk about STIs and HIV, then came down pregnancy. We must address that. So you talk about sexuality, you must discuss all those issues. And there are a number of campaigns that are going on. You know that they are there. The all-in campaign on HIV, targeting the youth. We have a Change for Choice for the sexual and reproductive health, trying to get messages around there. So as we keep thinking of innovation, let's see how far we can go in addressing the issues in terms of HIV and the whole range of sexual and reproductive health.
Thank you, Dr. Keegan. Davide.
I'll get the one on, can we scale them more?
Yeah. Thank you for using the word more.
I use the technical term. I don't know if that's the best way. It could be the best way. It worked in Europe. But right now, we live in a different time. And we are in front of a different target audience. It's a communication concept because it's a communication issue. Again, I think everything starts from raising awareness of the problem, awareness of the consequences, and that's definitely something that is scary. I think the problem is that they don't know how, that they are not scared enough. But then how to communicate this information, or maybe scaring them is not the best way, I don't know. We need to work with young people to understand how is it that they want to discuss this issue, or whether they just think that scaring supposed to have an impact is the best way to go about it. So maybe they're ready to have a more mature conversation. And I like mature conversations with young people because they're very smart.
Thank you, David. Sam, unfortunately, I'm going to have to push you to the parents' question.
Yes. A couple of things that are interesting. Everybody's a parent who's asking a question of concern about the children. That has really just said a lot. Now, I believe that you have a gate in your house and you have a door. They allow people to come in as much as they allow to keep people. I don't think ideally you want to put a fence around your house completely where nobody can come in or go out. So switching off your Wi-Fi, I can promise you the neighbor's Wi-Fi is good. So I have my own experience. I have 3 sons, and they all have gadgets they can use. It's Wi-Fi, but they have put extra security. So parents are just to be encouraged to put extra security on their gadgets, which is another innovation that we have in this particular conversation. Extra security that helps you be able to tell what they're looking at and discuss the content of the content. So don't shut it off. Just put extra security on it, and it's as simple as Googling and finding out and just putting it out there. So we might have to address. I think when we started this program, the day and we were thinking more about the young people. I think we need to have an adult section for this. Adults only section of how to use gadgets, what kind of gadgets, what kind of information to discuss. Because we actually might be part of the problem. We are part of the problem. And the former PS Blanket said it. We really need to stop the nonsense of passing the wrong information. We need to have passed the right information. So we might have to consider how to do that also.
And Sam, about how your 13-year-old is now trading commodities in Australia using Bitcoin. So there are interesting conversations coming up on that, parents. Now, over to you, Joy. Yes, please. Can you be a mentor? You see, we're going to ask the tough questions on this panel. It's no holds barred. Joy, tell us.
Yes, I can be a mentor. But generally speaking, I'll speak from my experience. When a young person, a young woman growing up, the different challenges you face that may not necessarily be the male counterparts may not be experiencing. I always get the question, who are you sleeping with for you to be in this platform? And I remember going for a meeting and one of these big leaders asked me, are you a human rights expert or a sex expert? And he asked me to my face. So there are different issues that young girls may face that not necessarily faced by the male counterparts. And that's why not all get the chance to shine in their best light because of the different hindrances that they face along the way. Because it sometimes gets to a point where it's not just your brains that are working for you, you have to have something else working for you. And you sometimes don't get avenues to express because who do you tell? Who do you tell someone said, or who do you tell advance that way? So it's all a matter of resilience. Some may not, to say that all of us have the same resilience would be a big lie. So, and okay, you get 23, 24, when are you getting married? When are you having children? There are all these expectations that are there for young women that sometimes limit them from get best as early as their male counterparts will get to their best. That's honest.
That is a good remark. Unfortunately, now we'll have to come to a close of our panel. I think Davide would like to just give one final remark.
Just very quickly to follow up on the question you mentioned, I'd like to send out actually an open invitation to everybody to become a mentor, because this is just the beginning for us. We initially reached out to some very strong partners, but we are just starting. This is what you see on the website is the first batch of mentors. It won't be the last one. This is just the beginning. So we need more people with more expertise to be able to take part in this initiative.
I'm just going to our tweet feeds, but because we took one extra question, we'll answer those as we proceed with the program on Twitter or on Facebook. I'd now like to thank my panel. Guys, let's give them a round of applause as they go to take their seats. Thank you, Joe. Asante sana daktari. Karibu. We're now going to move straight into the next portion of our program, which is going to be the I Am initiative, the actual launch of the portal, the initiative, and we're going to start off this session with the video.
It was me, all me. I could have stopped this. All I had to do was be there for her.
She kept telling me how she'd change the world one day, become some big shot surgeon or something. And just by the way her eyes lit up, you knew it was true. But now Sophie's pregnancy isn't the only thing about her that's positive.
Well, Jack, that jerk got to walk away scot-free. I mean, just like that. So she used sex to get love, but he used love to get sex.
He floated the idea of an abortion, and she bought it. Quite frankly enough, her parents raised her to be a doctor, a lawyer, not a mother.
Sex was just a gender, another topic of discussion in that house.
They basically raised a degree.
So in the long run, all she had was me, her friend. Even I cannot help myself. I mean, what do I know about sexuality, about sexual reproductive health? I barely talk about sex, but I have had it. Done waiting for change because Sophie's case is not the only one of its kind we have. Let me break it down for you. It is estimated that over 29,000 young people between the age of 15 and 24 get infected with HIV every single year. 1 in every 5 teenage girls is a mother. Of this, 13,000 drop out of school every year to take care of their kids. See if that's not enough. Over half of all abortion-related complications happen among girls below the age of 25. Basically, 1 in every 5 girls loses their dreams, their childhood. If that is not sad, I do not know what is. Who takes care of these girls? Who is in charge of their well-being? I am.
You see, I am Jack. If I could be in his shoes tomorrow, only this time, I will make better choices.
I am Sophie, but I will be a victim instead of a victim.
And I am so inspired because I'll have kids of my own someday, and they'll need to learn more than what the syllabus has to offer.
I have to learn that my sexual health
is just as important to me as it is to any young boy or girl with 9.
I have to learn that I have a voice in all of this.
Therefore, I am the difference.
I am going to be part of the solution and not the problem.
I have to learn who I am.
I am.
I have to learn that I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, the I Am Initiative. And now I'd like to welcome up to join me as we launch this initiative from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Kigen, Director General, Josephine Kibaru, Dr. Campbell, Sam, kindly join us. Judith, kindly join us. Joy, kindly join us as we officially today in Nairobi, Kenya, the 13th of June, 2016, launch the I Am Initiative. And here, holding the hoop together to officially declare that the I Am Initiative has been launched for the first time by UNFPA, NILAB, the Government of Kenya, NCPD. Let's give them a warm round of applause. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you and congratulations. So you have to shake hands through the hoops. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, there you go. Through the hoops. There you go. Represents the I Am Initiative. Learn the difference. Be the difference. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will have the official photo. You may now take your seats. And now. And now, it would be again remiss of us if we didn't actually have the young people come and take a hold of the hoop that represents the I Am Initiative. I am inviting our youth, ages 14 to 24, you're here in this room, kindly join me on the stage. Thank you. Come, this is yours. This is yours. This is your initiative. You carry our hopes and dreams as a country. You carry everything for us. There you go. Grab the hoop. Grab the hoop. Okay, so symbolically representing the handover of the I Am Initiative to the actual youth who will be driving it, who will be coming up with the ideas, who will be coming up with the very scary games and all the things that represent them, who will be teaching us about these alien thought processes. There's the youth officially launching, but they're not smiling. I wonder why they're not smiling. Do you want to see that on your Snapchat? So here's the youth smiling, launching the I Am Initiative, first of many initiatives going to many other countries. Congratulations. A warm round of applause, parents and old people. Come on, you can applaud better than that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. And now, you know, again, we want to make sure that the conversation keeps going. So get onto your Twitter, your Snapchat, your Facebook, talk to somebody. Just say, I was there when it started, the I Am Initiative. I'm now going to ask to join me at the front because we have members of the August House, not the House of Parliament, but it's a different house, established many thousands of years ago. There was a group of people that were very good at communicating information. And it happened somewhere around where the Medes were. And they began to be called the media. So from the media and representing the media, we have Alex Chamwada. Kindly join me and let's stand up here in the front. We just want to offer some quick fire. Thank you. Round of applause. Alex Chamwada joined us. And we also have, representing the media, Wahiga Maura. Kindly join me over here. Thank you very much. We're gonna just have a standing session, and I'm going to allow, you know, normally, Alex, Karibu Sana. Thank you. Thank you for traveling around the world so much. Have you seen an initiative like this somewhere else?
This is unique. Yeah.
Welcome, Wahiga. So we're just gonna stand right here and have this conversation. You're saying this is unique? You've not seen this?
I've not seen this.
But you travel all over the world. We see you talking about Kenyans abroad.
Yes, I mostly have done a lot in business. Yes, I've seen Kenyans abroad talk a lot about IT and especially transfer of technology back home. But regarding real issues and the role of the youth and how to involve the youth, this is unique.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
So, Wahiga Maura, this initiative, what's the role of media in this initiative?
You know, I've been racking my brain, asking myself that even as the presentations were going on. And I might speak today on some part for the media, but on another part also bashing the same industry that I work in. I think first I want to say that the media is not, as we view it, a group. The media is a collection of individuals, just like you and I, some who may not understand what we are discussing. In media houses sit fathers and mothers who are very afraid to discuss some of these issues. So when a topic like this one comes up in a media house, what do you expect them to do? They will shy away, they'll back off and be like, I can't do this. So I think when you first understand that, then you understand how to target specific people in media who understand it. Second of all, I think there have been some initiatives to reach out in regards to initiatives like this one. I know Janet Bugwa hosts a show every Monday called Monday Special, and she talks about issues just like these. And as I was there, I was asking myself, maybe this is something Janet could touch on, how we can leverage on technology to get word out to young people. The third thing I want to say is that with the way media, mass media is working in Kenya, fewer young people actually switch on their TV stations. They're going online now. Digital migration for a person who works in media has worked very much against us. And so media no longer holds the power that it used to. And I'm glad that IAM is not just focusing on mass media, calling media houses, please come and cover. They've come up with something that will also touch the young person where they are on the online space.
The other challenge, of course, we tend to go by what we call what sells. You know that in Kenya, politics takes a big chunk of our coverage. So I'm sure you've tried to invite media and they're like, that one will not sell. But probably, Wahiga knows, where is Honorable Raila Odinga? Where is Duale to react to what Odinga is saying? So there's been a challenge. And I quit, I worked from outside, but when I was inside, it was really a big challenge. The stories of the day tend to be politics. But innovatively, as Wahiga said, maybe we can look for alternative channels of how to have these issues now reach to the relevant audiences, not just the mainstream media, and not target the main bulletins. For example, we always want to see the prime news 9 to 10 or 7 to 7:30. That's quite short. With the expansion in the media sector, you can have other slots. You can have a very interesting program on such topics away from the prime times. And prime time is shifting from 9 and 7. You could have a program now, and if you promote well, you find well, it's gaining traction. And how to blend mainstream and online content.
Very good. I think, putting the media on the floor and putting you guys on the table, it's like you came prepared. You guys are like US Navy SEALs. You are instant in season.
You ambushed me. In fact, I thought now I'm sit here, and I thought I'm just.
If you sit at the back, nobody will recognize you. Thank you for taking
But I have a challenge too, and I get challenged. I have an 11-year boy, and I bought a Wi-Fi, and I found that boy is the biggest user of the Wi-Fi. And when the bundles are over, he'll always he'll call me. I was in Burundi and he was calling me, Daddy. and as you say, you don't buy the bundles, there is a Wi-Fi in the neighborhood, and I don't know what, I'm yet to sit down and find out what does he really do with that. So I'm challenged too as a parent. I'm here as a parent, and I thought I would just come as a parent. Now you're calling me to come here and talk as a media personality. But thank you.
So guys, one of the biggest shocks in Kenya today, the media are also parents.
We are also parents. We do other things than just being on TV.
This issue touches on every aspect of our society. And so we're going to allow just one question to the media. There's somebody here, you have that burning question about this IAM initiative, rollover media, or is this something you want to ask the guys? Kindly raise your hands. There's one hand.
Not the media.
It's a young person, so we'll be asking the parent who works for the media. Remember that.
Hi, my name is Kabo Kakishi, and I work with the NES Education. We provide curriculum solutions to students over SMS. We're serving about 80,000 to 100,000 students. And we find students who ask us questions over this platform. For example, yes, I'm having sex with my girlfriend. What should I do? And I think this is a great initiative, but there's also the element that I want to bring to the media of reach. A lot of, my 2-year-old has been watching TV. She learned how to twerk at about 1 year, 8 months. And so, generally, the media sells what the people want. And a lot of that content, for some of us who were raised without access to TV, who are banned from watching TV, but a lot of the parents now are allowing TVs and teachers and whatever else to teach the students. So you mentioned morning shows. Students are not watching that. Students are kind of watching the after-school shows, which are selling a lot of, Jason Derulo, sexualized content. What do you think are the avenues that I Am can partner with the media so that, during these shows, during this time when the youth are specifically looking at TV, not the ones who kind of are going online, but the ones rural, urban, who are definitely watching these shows, what are the collaborations that you think I Am and the media houses could do to make sure that while that content is there and the media is not going to dump it anytime soon, that students at the same time, or learners or young people, are also getting content and conversations that can move matters of sexuality forward?
There's a question, guys.
My goodness, Alex, you're ambushing me.
It's on the floor.
And you're my senior. Well, what can I say? Alex said something, media commercial. And I know that on a different forum, Alex will talk about one of the reasons why he went to start his own initiative, because he felt that some of the stories that he went to the newsroom and continuously pitched were ignored. And Alex, you come to NILAB one day and tell us about that. But that being said, I think first things first, I can see here a gathering of powerful men and women. And the one thing that media understands is money and influence. And if we took issues, teenage sexuality, as seriously as we take politics per se, I think we'll be able to see more funding into shows like, we have The Beat, you have Central East Africa, where the presenters have opportunity to give out certain messages. It's true that as much as many youth are going online, there are still those who tune in at 5 o'clock for such shows. So the first thing is, and I'm going to be very honest here, you need money to sponsor those shows. When you sponsor those shows, you can actually at least put a message out there. I also mentioned that most media houses have a talk show that talks issues affecting society. And I know that teenage sexuality is still a very big issue. Just being deliberate in now approaching your Citizen, your Nation, your KTN, your KBC, your K24, and tailoring a message for that talk show. I'm pretty sure that, I've been looking at the online conversation and I've seen Janet Bogo has plugged in. Maybe we should reach out to her and ask her, can we take this discussion then to Citizen at 90 and see whether we'll hopefully educate the parents, because I know the young people then are on Netflix or something else, and then hopefully the message will trickle down. But I still feel strongly that I Am must first be pushed online. Let's be honest, statistics out there don't lie. Young people go online first, trust online first, before we go and preach to them on TV.
And of course, in the newsrooms, there are researchers, but those researchers don't have the grasp of real issues. For example, you can partner with media houses to provide the research. Most researchers are probably interns who will just go to the net. And I've been daring abroad, and some of the newsrooms I've visited, you find they have experienced researchers, like former PS Itange Demo, being embedded to a media house as a researcher, even working in 1 hour. So when you have a slot on the youths, for example, then you would have specific researchers who are helping that media to craft concepts and programs. And more important, as Wahiga Maura said, the online platforms, the digital platforms. If I look at the websites of media houses, again, it tends to be what's happening now. When is the next anti-IEBC demo? Or you could have a page on sexuality on those websites. If you look at Al Jazeera, BBC, they have a segmented, issue-oriented content on their websites. But in our case, I think I may be wrong, but it's purely politics and what's cutting now. That's my contribution. I have a show and I tackle development content, and I think this is development content. If I could get partners, we research, we could have even a series of 4. And I go on location, so we could have it. I don't do studio discussions. Janet Mbuga does studio, and that's a good platform. You could partner with others who go out. You could have even a show hosted in Mombasa or Kisumu. Thank you.
Now, we're going to ask the Director General, NCPD, question, comment.
Yeah, this just a comment now that I have the media personalities here. And the two issues you just raised, commercial and content. Because we find, as from government, we also have to buy space for everything to be aired out there. And it's expensive. I mean, and some, like, even they said the last year or so, we're trying to get issues of youth highlighted on TV and the FM station, and it's quite costly. And then we say, so where is also the social corporate responsibility to kind of carry on some of these messages which we've actually developed that we've paid for to carry on for a little longer. And then the other thing is the content. As a technical person sitting there, even these talk shows you talk about, you're saying, you're sitting there, you're cringing, when people are discussing on TV because the content is so shallow, sometimes it's not the right content, and nobody even made an initiative, even make a phone call to confirm some of this content. So how do we work together so that at least, even if we are not there on the media or in the stations, the content is the correct representation of facts?
Thank you very much. I think that was a comment, and you guys will have to take that away and digest it. But what I think I'm hearing quite a lot here is monetization. Yeah? Because the media needs money to move, and how do we monetize the conversation we're having here? Two, I also hear very, very clearly the fact that the media are hungry for factual data, for content that the researchers don't go to Google to find, but that exists in and around topical issues, the conversation around sexual reproductive health for our nation. And maybe it's time that we need to shock everybody and to bring this matter to the forefront, because some of the matters that we're talking about here are quite pertinent. Now, we'll have to bring this conversation to a close, unfortunately, but I'd like to recognize other members of the media who are present with us in this room and say thank you very much. We won't call you out by name and ask you to stand. I think today we said your ambassadors, Alex Chamwada and Waiga Moora. Audience, let's give them a hand as they go back to take their seats. Thank you very much, guys. Excellent. Now, officially, we've actually launched the initiative. Everybody's thinking, okay, Delano, we've launched the initiative. What am I going to do? And I'm very sure some of us here are actually thinking, I like the initiative very much, but that 1 million shillings, some of us are already thinking about how do we coach our youth in our house, to get very close to this and put in the applications. And I think that's part of the process. We're saying, please go ahead and do it. You must go ahead and do it. Remember, it's not just 1 million shillings. It's 4 by 1. 4 individual institutions will have the opportunity each to get seed capital of 1 million shillings. And no, this is not 1 million shillings of technical assistance. It's 1 million Kenya shillings. So you will get that opportunity. I'd like to ask each one of us, let's go to the website. It's a very simple website. You can find it very easily. It's i-am.co.ke. The applications have kicked off. Visit i-am.co.ke to submit your application. And this is just within the next 4 months. Actually, within the next 2 months, this could be your youngster from your house who is transforming a nation and funded to do it. And with the support, with the facilities, with the access, with the technology, you've already heard that major corporate brands, Safaricom, Samsung, others, Wananchi Group are coming in to support these decks. So you know this is going to work. Again, let me just share with the audience that there will be boot camps. There's going to be 3 boot camps. The first is going to be right here at the NILAB on the 24th and the 25th of June. Really fast. So this is not an initiative that we're putting on the shelf that you're going to be hearing about, oh, what happened to that thing? No. 24th, 25th of June, first boot camp. Second boot camp, because we want it to be very inclusive, is going to be held at the University of Nairobi on the 1st and the 2nd of July. And I do think I saw Ashiki somewhere here. So he's going to be hosting that at his facility on the 1st and 2nd of July. And then we have Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and Wanakula will be hosting that on the 8th and 9th of July. So we're going to have all these representative institutions. It's going to be very inclusive. Lest people say that, you know, it was just for us four, no more. It's not an us four, no more initiative. It's open. Remember, 10 will be shortlisted. They may have good ideas, but we all know the good is the enemy of the best. And we're going to pick the 4 best solutions for addressing the challenges raised by the I Am initiative. These 4 winners will be picked to join the accelerator program, and these winners will have access to seasoned industry mentors, gender balanced, may I add, linkages to investors. Now, again, when you talk about linkages to investors, there's no limit on the investment funding. If it's a national initiative, large sums of funding, then linkages to partners to help them to get their go-to-market strategy. And I think earlier I saw Saeed from EMC here, who is the regional representative of EMC and will be supporting the initiative. And of course, seed funding courtesy of UK Aid, working in conjunction with UNFPA. We must recognize them. Now I'd like to give a very brief vote of thanks, and I'm the only person standing between you and a very nice brunch, which is just across the iHub. So I know you might be late, but guess what? Please stop by at the iHub just across the corridor from us, grab something quick to eat and drink, network, because this initiative means we want to talk to one another, not just look at one another. So talk to one another, talk to Sam, even though he's growing old and he has gray hairs and, you know, he's kind of creaky and not like back in the old days when he used to play rugby. But talk to him, encourage him that his children will carry the torch. So let's talk to one another. And now, for the vote of thanks, I'd like to recognize, number 1, our DJs at the back and our sound system experts and our media house supporters exposed for this very elaborate production setup. Round of applause. We'd also like to recognize Mara Moja. For those of you who had transport provided by Mara Moja, thank you very much to Mara Moja. Round of applause. That does mean if anybody here needs help with transportation, just go to the registration desk. Imagine we have thought about that. So just if you have a problem with transport, go to the registration desk. There's transport arranged for you. We'd also like to say thanks to Wenasi Caterers for facilitating a virtual brunch. It's virtual because you haven't eaten it yet. So we're saying thank you in advance, and it's going to be great food, but there's a brunch waiting for you. You won't need to eat lunch. We'd also like to thank Tech Productions for filming and photography. We'd like to thank Tech Sahara for facilitating the live stream. How many of you saw the live stream or are participating on live stream? I think I saw the guys on live stream waving somewhere in the virtual world. We also want to say thank you very much to Vintage Weddings. Yes, for the space setup. So it's designed like a wedding. We're launching something wonderful. We'd also like to thank iHub for availing the space for the launch. And that's just some wonderful camaraderie across the corridors. Thank you, iHub. And I've also seen the founders and the leaders of iHub in the room earlier today. We'd also like to thank Agency X, which is our digital agency. We'd like to thank Simbalet, 180 Group, for the dedicated link for this event. We'd also like to thank Steak and Ale as well as Utumi for ample and secure parking, for those of you who parked your vehicles there. And of course, not forgetting our VVVIPs. That's you. Our guests for attending this launch. We'd like to thank Kohasel for the amazing portal on which all these applications will be received. And we'll also like to specially recognize UK Aid, NCPD, UNFPA, and NILA. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. A round of applause to the initiators who have launched today's I Am initiative. Congratulations. Do have a great day. Just rush across the corridor, say hi to somebody, share cards, enjoy. I Am is officially live. I have been your host, Delano Kiru Longway.
Still on it. I can see. Good stuff. For the election, it's on the 30th of June. I'm confirmed. Yeah, I have the camera. So, yeah, we do this. It's going to be at Strathmore. I just need to confirm with those guys and then we do the rest. But how much? Give me something. Fine. How many camera? One camera. And you can't do a mix online. Alright. I shall arrange. Wow. Sasa nisikia hapa nione. Na kuja sasa narudia hapa sasa nikata muziki. Picha mimi sina shida. Picha ni nyingi sana. Sawa. I'm around wali. Yeah. So, what do DJs left? How much that?
Lakini hizo zinatoshea kwa kama. Hizo tunabeba. Hapa kwa mimi. Itakuwa hadi. Nasi tuliingia first. Tunatoka last. Very last.
Kuchagua kazi hii sio. Lakini ujue yetu ijaisha.
Oh my God.
So bado tuko hapa. Lakini I'll leave before you.
Kubanga hizi.
Amedia sana bado. Alikuwa anajitetea. Mimi kuna kama hizi hata sijamtaji. Sawa. Kujitetea.
Ile job kuna mtu alienda. Ile job kuna mtu alienda. Sijui.
Hi, I think my bag was brought somewhere here. Safaricom bag. Hi, I used to Safaricom bag. It's mine. It's like
I'm about to go with it at home.
you can't carry it. Yeah, that's all. So much.
Okay, I'm walking slowly.
Thank you.
Tangu gone ameenda kurudisha vitu za MGM. Kang'ethe Peter atakaa mtu wake. Akuja hapa direct. Kila mtu awake.
Aya, ada na live stream. Nishazima screen. Hiyo alani hizo swali tulimaliza kitambo. Ngira hiyo swali tulimaliza kitambo.
Mr. DJ. Unaona sasa iko kwa DNA. High expectations for you guys. Lazima mnapiga hiyo mahali pia mnaweka media. Okay, I was looking for you to do some scratching for me. Unakuwa shy. No, it's not this one. Let me tell you. Hata pio tunaweka tu.
Acha kunywa.
They look like this. They say, who does this young man?
No,
I'm saying,